All right, guys. Hello, my name is Alberto, aka Destroyer 48, aka Subscribe for Food, aka I have a lot of channels, aka ha ha ha, aka I got an almond in the back, aka I got nuts. That's all I got an almond in the back. All right, man. Let's get into it. I got another movie review coming up right now. It's an exciting one. To me, this movie is what would you do? This will affects us. What would you do if this happened? Let's say it one more time. What would you do if this happened? And I'm gonna explain right now. That's what the movie's about. When we're gonna jump into it. Um, this movie is called Red Dawn. It is it's action. It's a beautiful storyline. It does have some romance in it. Kind of a weird romance, but it does have romance in it. And it's about what would you do if countries invaded our country and bring like enemy paratroopers to our country, the whole, I mean, not all the country, but most of the country. And what would you do if that happened? They ain't gonna be nice to you. They're gonna kill people. They're gonna imprison people, and they're just gonna stir up a lot of trouble. And we ain't gonna like them, and we don't like it. We're Americans. We don't like anybody bullying us. All right. This movie, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about some scenes from this movie, and we're gonna go over it, and you can decide whether you wanna go look for it on, get the DVD eBay or see if you can find it and rent it somewhere. And it's called Red Dawn. It's starring Patrick Swayze as Jed Eckert and Charlie Sheen as Matt Eckert, but they call him Matty. All right, let's jump into Red Dawn. Let's jump into it. Every now and then I might bring it up. Just kind of hold it. All right, let's jump into the storyline. Let's get started. Let's get it cracking. Let's get it popping. Um, it's gonna start off in a very small town out where I think there's mountains nearby and stuff like that. It's not much. And we're gonna start off with um as with Patrick Swayze as Jed Eckert and Charlie Sheen as Matty Eckert. So Jed is the older brother. He's in a truck. He has Maddie with him. I'm gonna call him, like I say, Maddie for Matt Eckert. That's what Jed's gonna call him. We'll call him Maddie. Um, and Jed is in the truck and he's dropping off his brother at school. And he's dropping off one of his friends as well. And he drops him off at school. And Jed, he works at the radio station. He says he can go to radio station. They say a funny joke that because Maddie's in the high school football team, there's a scoreboard he lost, and then Jed said, "When I played, we didn't lose." And then his friend or either Maddie says, "Yeah, I remember you. You you lost." And Jed's like, "I don't remember that." So Jed takes off in his truck. It's an okay truck. It's a country kind of truck, big truck. He's gonna go to the radio station. Maddie, Maddie and his friend go to school. Now, they show there's a class, there's a history class, they're going over Chinese, actually Mongolian history, and all the students are there. And the teacher's lecturing about the Mongolians. That's just weird because when in my high school we didn't go over Mongolians in my history class. Well, anyways, so there's this class and the teacher's talking about the Mongolians to the students. Students are just there listening in their seats, just like any other classroom. And then the teacher realizes out the window, because there's windows outside, you can see outside, that there's paratroopers they're falling from the sky, and this teacher tells students, "Hey, hold on, I'll be back." This teacher goes outside and he sees these soldier paratroopers, and it looks like they're taking out stuff from crates that they dropped from the sky as well. They look like they're getting guns and stuff like that. Teacher confronts them and trying to be human or diplomatic about what they're doing, and sure enough, they shoot the teacher. And then all the students are looking at the window outside the school or like the classroom, and they start shooting at all the students. One gets nailed, and he's still like hanging in the wall. The rest run. The paratroopers are falling everywhere, including the school, of course, like we saw, and everybody's running out. All the students. Matt runs out. Um, there's this other guy named Daryl. I think that's the one where in the parking lot he had to get a car, but the Russians shot up his car. I think it was Daryl. Jed comes back from the radio station to come look for his brother, of course. So Jed comes back. Maddie jumps in. Some other kids jump in. The ones that are gonna jump in are Robert, Daryl, Danny, and Arturo. They say they call him Advark, but they call Arturo Advark. I think he's Mexican or something, or from Latino country. Uh, I don't ever remember calling him Advark. Anyways, all of them hop on Eckert's truck and they take off. They're taking off on the road, and they're going on a dirt road when they leave the high school. They picked up many kids as they could, and I mentioned them right now. Right now, we'll go into the backgrounds in a little bit. But they're going down a dirt road. They see a freaking big tank. The tank's there. I guess they airborne the tank. So they need to take a left. The tank starts shooting at them, and they go into a field. And then comes a helicopter, and they're like, "What's a helicopter? What's a helicopter? It's ours. It's ours." The helicopter starts shooting at the tank, and it destroys a lot of the tank. There's men around the two other vehicles, and a lot of it gets destroyed. A lot of soldiers get destroyed from that little. It's like they were doing a roadblock on the road with a tank. They killed some soldiers, enemy soldiers, and they probably destroyed the tank and some vehicles around there. They're all excited, the kids, and then they take off. Jetta and company, and with the kids in the truck, they stop with the truck, and they're like, "Something's wrong with the truck, and we need more radiator fluid or whatever." And then one of the kids says, "Why don't I try peeing in it?" They're like, "Okay, yeah, try it." He's like, "Well, I was just kidding." He was kind of like that. They're like, "No, get up there." So the guy starts peeing in the radiator because he needed to fix the truck. Um, they go to they went to all the kids in the truck. They went to some store, a little store, a side road store that sells a lot of stuff. Um, they had picked up some stuff. Actually, Robert's dad is the owner or manager, owner, or whatever. Everybody starts. It's Robert's dad. Robert's dad in the store tells, "Hey, get all the supplies you can." They get stuff they need and the stuff they don't need. They get like cokes, toilet paper, all that stuff. I remember one of them saying, "No, I'm not gonna use. If we're gonna go to the mountains, because Jen wants to go to the mountains, going to the mountains, I ain't using leaves." They take toilet paper. They take cokes. They take soups. They take whatever they can. But they take things they don't need, like a football and they did a radio would be good. Um, and they take bow and arrows. They take all this stuff. They take sleeping bags, and they had took them all up. That I'm sorry. And after that, they loaded up, and then they ran into things. Sorry about that. But they're gonna end up going to the woods, and they go to the woods, and then they start talking. Uh, they all have codes. It's cold. and then so they already have a little camp area out in the woods already. But Danny's the one that is like, I want to go, I want to get out of here, and then Jed's like, no, and then Daryl says he can do whatever he wants, and then Jed goes, no, and then I think Daryl goes up to Jed and steps the throne, throws a can at him, and then Jed gets Daryl throws him, and I think there's a little fire going, a campfire in the daytime. He throws him, and then Jed goes, haul ass, okay, over there, fine, haul ass, take your shit and leave. And they're like, they don't, now they're afraid, now they don't want to go, because I guess maybe they're afraid of Jed or whatever. Um, and Jed tells them, y'all want to leave, go. And he's like, come with me if you want to stay with me and live here. And then Manny goes to Jed and says, I'll stick with you. So he sticks with his brother. And everybody doesn't go over there, but they're going to stay because they don't leave. And then Jed goes, if you're going to stay here, you're going to do what I tell you. And they're like, okay. They're going to go more into the woods. One of the boys mentioned that the soldiers were talking Spanish. It would be Arturo, even though they'll never say his name, and we never heard him say the name. Or Advark, I don't remember that. So we're gonna find out that they're Cubans. At least in this area, they're Cubans, soldiers that have invaded. Um, and we're gonna have, I think some of the group, maybe all the group, I'm not sure, but a lot of them go. They go to this place. They go to this ranch out of the middle of nowhere. They go there and they talk with Mr. Mason. I believe it's Mr. Mason and his wife, Ms. Mason, and he's telling them about, hey, what's going on. I mean, it's already been months that passed. They've just been hiding out, and Mr. Mason goes, don't go to this area. I don't know, some area there in the woods. Because they found people dead or with their throats cut and stuff like that. And this was supposedly done by the Cuban army, the Cuban soldiers. Um, um, Mr. Mason gives him a radio. Just like, no, we can't take that. Like, no, don't worry, I have another one. Because when they were in the truck, they had taken a radio from Robert's dad's store, and they got shoot with a bullet. So now Mr. Mason gave him another radio. So now they have a radio to keep contact on what's going on. Um, and Mrs. Mason brings them refreshments. I don't know, some kind of drink, maybe alcohol. I don't know what it is. And they're drinking it. Maybe it's chocolate. I don't know. And just to be have hospitality. She's like, I wish we had more, but Mr. Mason says, I got something to give you. And then Mason's like, Jed, no. He goes into like a cellar, there's a door, he opens it, there's two girls in there. They take him. It's gonna be Tony and Erica. And they're gonna take them, and they have horses, so so the group takes Tony and Erica, and they are off. Now I will mention that the Cuban soldiers, they have this main Cuban, I don't know, it's like a colonel or something, but he's the leader at their town, and he's calling a lot of orders and stuff. One night, there's that helicopter that was shooting. It's probably that helicopter. That's the only helicopter I saw shooting at the tank earlier. It's shooting at the town. And it's shooting at the Cuban soldiers because the town is taken by Cuban soldiers. They try to shoot rocket launchers to shoot it down. They use weapons, and I don't know if they ever shot down the helicopter. They never show it. Now back to the group. There is a scene where they're all camping out, and Erica and Tony are there, and they start fighting with Maddie. He's saying, "Hey, go wash the dishes, like you do it. We're tired of doing all your work, whatever." And they start arguing and stuff like that. Um, they The first time I see that they see action is at three Cubans. One of them looks like higher up, maybe a sergeant or something. They go, these three Cuban soldiers, they go to the park by themselves. They're in a Jeep and they're taking pictures and stuff like that. And that group notice them. So they take, like, I think all of them go and they're hiding out. And these guys are like, it's kind of a little cliff, but you could climb it up. Or a little mountain or whatever you want to call it. One of the Cuban soldiers mentions a plastic bow and arrow. It's funny because he goes, "I think this is the Indians," and then the Cuban sergeant says, "The Native Americans, Indians, whatever, they have plastic because the bow and arrows are in plastic." Of course, Indians only use wood because that's all there is at the time. Um, One of them knows is a girl. I think it's Tony. Tony falls down the cliff, and then they go after her, and the Cubans go after her, and they're trapped, and they're running into an ambush, and the group starts killing the Cubans. It's funny because the sergeant, he ended up in the little cliff was trying to get back up, and somebody gets with a gun, AK-47, shoots him and it shoots him in the butt and the back. That was funny. And then they go. I think one of the Cuban soldiers goes all the way in, and he's gonna get shot by the group. And then they go kill the other one that actually makes it to the jeep, but he's been shot, wounded. He goes into the jeep and he's trying to call somebody, and Jed cuts out to him. It's a powerful scene. Jed gets a gun. This guy's sitting in a jeep on the radio trying to call people, and he turns his head, and Jed just shoots him in the head. And of course, he's mad of Cubans because they're invading his country. So that happens. um, you're gonna have the group, not all of them. I think it's like Jed and Maddie and a couple of other kids of the group. They're gonna go check out the town, see what's up. They see armored vehicles. They're spying on the town, and they see armored vehicles like there are. So like, no, we haven't seen anything like that. They go into town and they go talk to this girl. Well, I actually remember her name, Alicia. They go to a store in the town, talk to her. Just like three toothbrushes. And Alicia knows them. She's like, Jed. And then the girl told them, we're not supposed to talk about this, whatever. There's even a Cuban upstairs in the store. She's like, Jed's like, have you seen this? And my mom, I tried calling. And then Alicia says, they took a lot of people. They were to the drive-in. And she says, and then she says, Jed, I pray for you, and they leave. Um, yeah, and I forgot that when they visited Mr. Mason at the ranch. Sorry about that. Mr. Mason tells Robert, one of the kids, that he's been killed. Why did he kill 18 gorillas? And then Jed goes, we're not gorillas. We took this stuff. Well, they're considered gorillas because they're fighting. They're ambushing Cubans and using like guerrilla tactics, like kind of like hiding, ambushing, and killing a lot of soldiers hiding in the trees, stuff like that, snipe them. But they do leave the store, Alicia's store, and they go back to the camp. It's nighttime. Robert's still traumatized that they kill his father. They're all there at the camp, and they start doing ambushes. In the daytime, they start they start ambushing Cuban soldiers. This is why I don't like this, is because they treat these kids like they're professionally trained. They fight professionally trained. I don't buy it. And I will mention this at the end of the movie, after the movie review. Um, so the group ambushes the Cubans in certain areas, towns, bases, all that stuff. But there's just one cool scene that I think they advertise a lot. It's where they have the girl, Tony. They have her go to a small store, a gas station out in the middle of nowhere, and she has a basket and she has biscuits or I don't know some kind of food. There's three Russian soldiers that come in a tank. They approach her, Tony, and they take away the food, and then I think somebody explodes the tank with a rocket launcher or something. Tank blows up. They're like, "Man, you chick! Wow, we're gonna get you, Tony." So they blame Tony. They think she has something to do with it. Tony starts running. The Russian troops run after her, and then there's like three holes, like doors on the dirt that they made. They pop up, and the group, some of the group is there, and they shoot the three Cuban soldiers as one of the ambushes. And Tony keeps running. I guess she gets scared. um, After that, there's a day where they have believe it's Tony's. No, it's Erica. Erica's walking in the woods. I think it's yeah, it's snowing already. So it's probably like November, December. She's walking in the middle of nowhere and she sees this man in uniform sleeping on the floor, and it turns out to be Andy. Andy, uh, um, Erica questions her. I'm sorry, Erica questions him. Says, "What's the state of Texas?" He says, "Austin." She's like, "Wrong. Call me Houston." And she like steps on him and has a gun at him and stuff like that. And then she finally believes. He says, "Hey, I'm a pilot," and all that stuff. And his name's Andy. And then she takes him in, and she takes him to go with a group, and I believe it's still daytime. They talk to him, to Andy, and Andy tells them what's been going on. He knows more information than they do. Of course, he's a pilot for the U.S. Air Force. He says they stop. There was an invasion. They took a lot of states, basically the Cubans and the Russians. It's also the Russians too, um, and and he tells them that hey, they stopped them butt cold in the Rockies or Colorado or somewhere over there. He stopped them. So now we're finding out that in in like northern states like Dakota, I don't know, New York, that's the free zone. That's where the United States is still free, and everybody there is behind the free zone. So they're still in, of course, they're still in military. Cuban and Russian, uh, they're behind the lines, military lines. After that, there's a scene where they one of the kids wakes up Andy, and he's sleeping in the tent, and he's like, um, they're like, we're gonna go ambush a column. So it's real early in the morning. It looks like it's 5 or 6, whatever. They get up, and there's a road, and their group is hiding in the surrounding little mountains, whatever. And they start shooting up a column that has a Cuban column, a Russian column, mostly Cuban, I believe. And they shoot up the trucks they have and everything, and they did it successfully. They killed the whole column. There's a part where one of the group is the Cuban troops are like in a small small ravine or whatever beside the street. They're prepared for the dope grenades and they kill them. So they kill all the Cuban troops. They do take their weapons and whatever they can, even clothes because they're cold, even their hats that are cold. And they go back. Uh, there's another scene where they can. Andy is now it's daytime, and they have a table, and Andy's telling them the plan that they're gonna go. Oh, by the way, um, sorry about this, but Jed and Maddie, they had actually gone to the drive-in, and they actually found their dad. Wow, cool. And their dad says, kind of like, don't be crying for me, all that. And they start crying. He didn't want them to cry. And then that's how Jed tells Manny not to cry when they're out there in the woods. And they talk to Mr. Eckert in the drive-in. The drive-in, they have all these town people that they call prisoners that think to be a threat to the Cuban army. And they leave. Oh yeah. Oh, I do remember that Mr. Eckert, Robert's there, and that was before Robert asked him, "Where's my dad?" He's like, "I don't know, son. I don't know, son." But Mr. Mason, like we went over, told Robert that his dad died giving supplies to the enemy, the guerrillas, which is them, but they don't consider themselves guerrillas because they don't know anything. So now we're gonna go back to where I was talking. We got Andy on the table. They have like paper airplanes. They have a setup of the theater. I'm sorry, the drive-in, the outside drive-in, and he's going to tell them, okay, we're gonna do this double A, whatever plan, whatever. The group's like double A, and what's that? What does that mean? Cover fire? What is that? And it's funny because they don't understand. But now they're gonna show the drive-in at night, and they have a plan to take it over. So the group goes. They start. It's funny because Arturo knows Spanish. He talks to the Cubans like, "Here, they're over here, over here," and he sets up those Cuban soldiers for an ambush, and they ambush them, and they have guns set up already. They say Wolverines. That's their school mascot. That's why they yell it out, and they start killing all the Cuban guards there. They're they're letting all the townspeople go. They're rescuing them. The really cool part is Andy. There's a it looks like a Russian soldier, a Russian pilot. He's going into a jet trying to escape. That's kind of weird. I don't know how they're gonna take off, but he's trying to escape. And then Andy goes over there and he goes to the pilot. He gives him the FU finger, the bad finger, and then he throws a grenade into one of the compartments of the jet. Andy runs. The Russian pilot explodes along with the exploding jet. It blows up. That's pretty funny. You see the truck, the group of kids are in the truck, and all the townspeople or the captured men, they're running behind the truck, um, and they're giving them weapons. They're like, "You're gonna die standing up." Pretty cool. They all run out. It shows the next morning. You got the Cuban colonel. I'm just gonna call him colonel. I don't know what he is. Well, the Cuban leader. He they have captured some of the men that were trying to escape. They put them against the fence and they shoot them. Matalos. That means kill them. They do kill a lot of the townspeople they caught. I think they caught most of them. That's what it looks like because there's a lot of them. Um, the Cuban leader of the Cuban army, he's there, and he's telling another leader, Cuban leader, "Hey, I saw this in Mexico. I don't know what all these Argentina, some of these southern countries." But he's like, "I seen this stuff before, but these are my men. My men." He's upset, of course. There is a scene. I mean, it's very where I think it's like Maddie. He's looking with binoculars, and he's seeing that the Cuban army is massacring civilians. There's one part he's in like this. He's hiding like in some weed or tall grass. He's with the binoculars, and he sees the Cuban army. They have tanks, and they have the townspeople, even women and men. They have them standing in a line, and one of those things, "Oh, beautiful for space," singing the Spangled Banner or whatever. And then they start shooting them. They start killing them with the tank guns and machine guns and all. And they kill them. And that's Maddie tell Eckert. But there is one cool scene where they're gonna do it again. On the side of a road, you have a whole bunch of Cubans, and they're gonna massacre these people. An old man spits out. He's an American. He spits them. They're about to shoot him, and the group shoots all the Cuban soldiers, and the people are rescued. So that's cool. You're gonna have a part of a movie where the Russian army really comes in and they march in, and the Russian leader, kind of cool. He says, "You killing other people, that was a mistake. Don't be doing that. Tell the Cubans don't be doing that." So they're gonna try to. This Russian leader is gonna try to get the Cubans. He does a lecture and, hey, how are we gonna capture this guerrilla group, the kids, the group, the Wolverines. There is a scene also where they're having a parade. They make all the townspeople wave like Cuban, Russian flags or some little ones. Pretty funny stuff. Um, you're gonna have Andy is gonna take the group to go see the line, try to get escape enemy lines maybe. But I don't know because what happens is kind of weird. Um, they see two tanks fighting each other. An American tank is way out there shooting at a Cuban tank that's near them. I think two Cuban tanks. The tank starts shooting, and Arturo goes crazy. The Spanish kid. He goes crazy. They try to hold him down. They can't hold him down. They're like laying down near the tank or near snow near the tank, and then Andy goes to the tank and starts trying to shoot inside a gap in the tank to try to kill the drivers in the tank, in the enemy tank. Arturo goes, "I'll go with you, Andy." Andy's like, "Don't get away, kid. Whatever." Um, they start. Someone pops out of the tank and they're shooting a gun on top of the tank, and they kill Andy, and Arturo gets killed as well, I believe. Uh, they're trying to help the situation. Maddie's trying to take a rocket out, try to put in a rocket launcher, try to take out the other tank, and they can't do it. It's not fitting or something. It's jammed. Maddie ends up getting another rocket. I think this one works, and they kill the other tank, but it's already too late because the other tank, the machine gun, has already killed Andy and Arturo. Um, it's kind of sad. Before that, when Andy was alive, when they just got there, he tells Jed, "You can quit now, Jed." And there was an opportunity for Jed to go across and for them to go through, to go try to get on the other side. But they got all turned off because Andy and Arturo died. So I guess they go back. They go back to Kent. So they lost Andy and Arturo. Oh well. They lost the leader, the pilot. Um, and it was sad too because Erica started to like Andy. There's a scene where they're playing football before this, and Erica starts talking to him about his wife and everything, kind of flirting with him. She wants to be jailbait, I guess, for this guy. So, anyways, Andy and Arturo are dead from the battle scene I just talked about, and the group goes back. Later on, they're gonna. It looks like they're gonna be ambushed. There is like I think they're Russian soldiers. No, I don't know. I don't know they're Russian or Cuban soldiers, but they're special forces. They're enemy soldiers, either Russian or Cuban, and they might be Russian. They're covered in white masks. They're in white. They're camouflaged with the snow, and they're using some machine to try to contact the group, the Wolverines, the kids. And but the group's ready for them. I don't know how. How did they know? I don't know. Maybe one of the groups saw these special forces coming in, and then they're in white jumpsuits. Like I said, they're camouflaged with the snow, and then the group is able to ambush them, and they start killing most of the special forces. Uh, they capture one, and they tie him up, and he doesn't have his mask on. He's whatever, and they have a machine. The group has the machine that they're using to try to find the group, and then one of them turns it on, and they're like ding 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 ding. It has like a little thing that's doing, and the machine points to Daryl, and they're like Daryl from the group, and then Jed goes, "Where is it? Where is it?" And Daryl's crying and whatever, and Daryl said, and then the machine points to Daryl, so he's already busted. And he's gonna explain what happened. He says, "You told me not to go in town, but I went. They captured me, and they made me swallow, I guess, some kind of homing device." And and Jed gets mad, gets Daryl like this from the right here, and he throws him down, and he goes, "You SOB." He gets all mad. Turns out they're gonna decide to execute that enemy soldier they captured and Daryl, and they kill the enemy soldier special force first, kill him blood whatever, and then Jed is trying to copy the Cubans. Okay, line up with your weapons, and then but Maddie says no, we're not gonna do it. No, we're not gonna do it. He was part of the group and all that stuff like this. Erica and Tony are mad. One of them's like, they're gonna kill him. And they're like, good, because he's a traitor. Daryl's a traitor because he has a swallowed homing device his dad made him take when he sneaked into town, which Jerry told him not the group not to be doing that. And Robert's like, if you're gonna execute him, I'll do it. And then Maddie says, shut up, Robert. And he's still complaining that Jed does not do this. And then Robert just takes takes it into his own hands, and he gets the gun and kills Daryl. And there's blood all over Robert, and then they take off. I mean, it's a pretty powerful scene. Um, then you're gonna have the group go to some canyon area. Um, they're about to ambush an enemy column trucks. They're about to shoot, and then one of the trucks, it's they're military trucks, the big ones. They're about to shoot, but one of the military trucks drops food. They drop a box by accident or whatever, I don't know, on purpose. I don't know. They take off, the column takes off. They don't shoot up the column because now they have goodies, they have food, they're starving. And they send, I think it's Tony. They think they send Tony. I know it was a girl. They told her, go check it out. She goes, she checks the food. She's like, it's okay. And the group gets the food. They don't sure when they get the food, but they do get the food because you see them in the canyon. They're eating cereal, they're eating fruits, apples, oranges, they're eating and all that. Funny scene. I believe it's Tony. Jed is below a rock, and then Tony's on the rock, and she's like squeezing, I don't know, an orange or whatever on his head. And Jed looks up, and then she pretends she didn't do anything. And then the next time she does it, and Jed catches it, they start laughing. It's pretty cute. But then they're eating, but Jed goes, hold it, hold it, hold it. He hears something, and it's a big freaking Russian helicopter. And they're like, oh my gosh. The helicopter starts shooting, and I think they shoot, the helicopter shoots Tony first. She has a jacket, all the cotton comes out, she's shot. And they start hiding, some of them start hiding, some get on horses and leave. They try to get on the horses and leave. Um, the group is there. Um, Robert heroically, I don't like Robert, but heroically gets out his gun. He puts a famous scene. He puts a scarf to do it like a ninja. He gets his gun. Wolverine. He starts shooting at the helicopter, but the helicopter's freaking massive. The Russian helicopter's huge, and the Russian helicopter shoots Robert. You just see a bunch of smoke, beep, 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 and they kill Robert instantly. Tony's still alive, but um, oh yeah, they did. One of them was able to shoot a rocket launcher at one of the helicopters, and it just shot the side. I think there was one big helicopter and one small one. They shot the smaller one in the side, and it still didn't take down the helicopter, but it killed like one of the men that fell off from the enemy soldiers from the helicopter. Um, After that, the group kind of hides. The helicopters leave. Tony is wounded, and she's under like a small tree or bush or something, and she's dying. Tony's dying, and Jed goes to her. Tony says, um, "I'm cold. Give me a blanket. Give me a grenade, whatever." She holds on to it, and Jed's like, kind of like, we can help you. And she's like, no, just leave me here. So Jed leaves. The rest of the group leaves that are still alive. It shows the enemy helicopters come back. The group is gone, and they're they have soldiers that are checking out the area, patrolling the area. They find Tony, the girl Tony. Russian troop gets her hair, moves her. Her body's been, she trapped her own body. She had a grenade in it. It explodes and it kills a Russian soldier. And that has happened. And the group goes back. And I think the only ones that are remaining are Jed Eckert, Manny Eckert, uh, Erica, and Danny. And the last thing I'm gonna go over is let me say it again. The ones that are left are Jed, Jed Eckert, Manny Eckert, Erica, and Danny. Now, Manny, they're like somewhere dark. I don't know. I think near the town. And Manny ends up telling Erica and Danny that you gotta leave. You gotta go to the free zone. And Manny says me, and he goes. They're like Erica's like, and Danny are like, no, you can go with us. And then they go like, no, me and Jed are all wasted up. So it looks like Manny and Jed are gonna do something very spontaneous, possibly heroic. And Erica and Danny, I'm sorry, yeah, Danny take off. And I'm gonna stop there. I'm not gonna spoil the ending because the movie's good. I see this movie a lot. I would see it more, but sometimes I just don't have time. I feel like watching it now. Now I'm gonna give comments on the review. I love this movie. The only thing I hated for the longest time, I think maybe I'm not so bitter about it, but it's like, how can kids be that good in ambush soldiers? You have to be trained, be properly trained how to use machine guns. They already have machine guns. You have to be trained on military strategy. That's what I would think. They have no training. How are they so good in ambushes? How are they so good in guerrilla tactics? Now, there was a scene where Jed and Manny and Robert they go hunting for deer. So it is obvious that Jed and Manny's dad has taught him how to shoot a rifle, but they ain't machine guns. I don't know. They kill a deer, make Robert drink blood. Pretty cool scene too. I didn't go with that scene, but it's pretty good. But now I'm going to the scene because I'm wondering how did they have so much special training to do all that stuff. That's why I get jealous of them. I think it's hard to believe that just kids are going to learn guerrilla tactics and use equipment, properly where they can ambush other enemy soldiers. I don't. It's hard to believe. To me, it's a pill hard to swallow. Like you give me a comment. Do you agree? Especially y'all that have seen the movie already. If you have not seen the movie, I recommend you see it. It's pretty good. It's a good story. If you like action, you like kicking ass, you like machine guns and all that stuff, and there's traumatic scenes in it where they're killing townspeople, the enemy soldiers, the Cubans, especially the Cubans. After the Russian higher up leader, general, whatever, told them not to be doing that anymore. Um, yeah, the Russian leader told the Cubans stop it, stop killing the civilians. It's not helping the situation. They're trying to control the people. There's a lot of action. Besides me saying it's a hard pill to swallow, how these kids learn how to do all that stuff on their own. It's a good movie. They do fight like professional soldiers. The action is good. The best scenes in the fights are a lot of the ambushes. The good one is the attack on the drive-in where they try to rescue their townspeople, especially men in season 3. They rescue them, and a lot of the men are caught and they're executed by the Cubans. The group takes off. The scene where they're with the tanks and Andy is trying to take them to the free zone. I mean, that's pretty dramatic. I mean, that was cool. They could have. I was like, they're gonna make it, but no, they didn't make it. They went back. They did not try to go to the free zone anymore. I guess they got traumatized, whatever. That's pretty cool. The beginning is really cool when they're parachuting down and they go to the school. That's awesome. You see them parachuting in the town too and try to take over the town. townspeople trying to fight back. You really don't see that. You see that the town people have already been overtaken. It's action. It's a good story. Um, I recommend you watch it. I used to watch this movie a lot when I was a kid. I didn't have money, really a lot of money to go to other places, whatever, so I stayed home watching movies. If I wasn't playing football or baseball, I was watching movies. And I played football and baseball. Anyways, nah, I mean, it's really cool. And like, in the beginning, when I said there's a what if. What if that happened to our towns and enemy soldiers were able to parachute here and get through our defenses and all that? What would you do? Where are you going to run? They're going to try to capture you and make you their puppet. Um, I like when the Cuban leader is in town at night and they have the soldiers shooting at the helicopter. The one we don't know if they destroyed or not. The LA helicopters, the Ally helicopter is shooting at them. Pretty cool. I didn't mention it, but they did talk about the Cubans, a new American tanker coming to save the town, but they were destroyed. They were ambushed by the Cubans. But overall, I like this movie a lot. I will give it a B minus because I just couldn't swallow the pill about them, the kids, freaking knowing guerrilla tactics and being so good at ambushes. Where did they learn it? And if not, I'd give it a B or an A plus. But watch it. I do recommend it. Maybe you're not so picky about me, you know, like I am picky about it. Yeah, one more time. Called Red Dawn. This is not the original cover. I think the original cover has like parachutes over the town. I think that one's better. This one shows Manny and Jed. That's when they're talking at the field, talking about stuff or whatever, talking about what the group's saying and all that. And they're out on the town. They're on the mountains thinking. They say like, "Oh, it's so quiet up here and all that." Do you time think something like that? So I recommend you get Red Dawn. It's a good action movie. And if you like machine guns and all that, and the what would you do if we were attacked by enemy soldiers? Would you hide in the hoods? Would you hide in your house? Turn yourself in? What would you do? So this concludes my review of Red Dawn, the movie. Um, this is supposed to be 20 minutes. I'm already going to 50 minutes. So that means I like it. That's because I haven't even seen it recently. I go by memory. Because if I see the movie, I'm going to want to do the whole thing. And it'll be like 2 hours. And you guys are not going to want that. You're not going to want to see my movie reviews. So that concludes my review of Red Dawn. I recommend you see it. I give it a B minus. Um, so I'm gonna leave you with my what I say all the time. The world is not a perfect place, but we can all make it better. Till next time. My name's Alberto, aka Destroyer, aka Subscribe for Food. Ha ha ha. So till next time, I'll see you Gator. I'll see you later, Gator. I'll see you later, Gator. Bye. Love you.